at the end of that call, Dustin, our CPA, says, well, it's like, it's a good problem, but it's still a problem. But you guys are going to have a pretty significant tax bill if you don't go and buy, $4 more million worth of real estate this year. So pretty much gave us that homework. And he's like, I don't know, I think you guys are just going to get stuck with paying it. And so that immediately put me in this mode of, I'm not paying it. We're going to figure it out. And I put together a spreadsheet. I'm like, we can allocate these properties that we're going to flip. We're going to turn those into rentals now, and all of these different things. And I just know, just because of, who we are, and when we set our minds to something, we're going to, we'll make it happen. We still got a couple of months left and to get that taken care of. But I mean, that's one thing that I'm so grateful for, just within the real estate industry, is we can do that, because you and I both have a lot of friends in other industries that are high earners, and they get wrecked on taxes, like absolutely wrecked, like paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and they don't have any opportunities at write-offs, really significant ones anyway.
Both you and I, on our corporate sides, we paid zero corporate tax whatsoever. None of our LLCs paid any tax, which is awesome. But we do pay ourselves a little bit of money. I paid myself, I think, 35 grand last year. Which is such a joke, but it's like the smallest amount I could pay myself personally. But all the millions of dollars that we made in our businesses, it's like, you don't pay any tax on that. But I paid, I think, $8,000 or $10,000 on the $35,000 I made. So think about that. Somebody who made $35,000 would have paid $10,000 of their 35 to the government, 30% of it. Whereas the millions of dollars got paid nothing, absolutely nothing. So guys, if you're not using depreciation and you're not using tax benefits, you're missing literally 80% of this real estate game. I know we talk a lot about wholesaling and getting into the game, and depreciation can be a scary word, because when have you used depreciation at the dinner table, or when you're on a first date with a girl, you ask, what's your favorite depreciation strategy? No, these are not normal conversations that come up. And so these are not normal terminology. And so people get a little bit fearful of them. But yes, we do. Absolutely do use them. We only focus on what tax strategies are already written in the IRS code. And the best way to do that is through rental properties, guys. Buy rental properties utilizing creative finance is the fastest way to do it. I mean, you and I were talking about an 8-plex, by the way, today. And guys, I want everybody to write this down. This is an interesting thing. Every time I bring this up, people don't understand it. Cody finds this 8-plex in a place that most people wouldn't think that Cody found this 8-plex. Okay. Let's take guesses in the side chat, everybody. I want you to guess where Cody found this deal. You won't guess it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you will. But people just don't understand this is where you can find a lot of good creative finance deals. It's an 8-plex in one of the hottest cities in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona. It's an 8-plex on seller finance. Where did we find that deal, guys? Let's see if anybody's got some guesses. Ooh, dang it. Somebody got it. Freddie H, you got it. MLS. MLS. Cody, how many, if you did a search right now on the MLS for seller carryback, seller finance, any of that kind of stuff on the MLS, are you going to find a handful of properties?
Oh, they're not a handful, hundreds. There's hundreds.
Guys, listen to this.
Doesn't mean they're great terms, but they're
well, that's up to you to negotiate, right?
Right. Exactly.
But at least they're open. They've already raised their hand and said, I don't care about your credit. I don't care about your worthiness. I care more about the down payment and whatever else. So we get people that DM Cody and I all the time and say, how do I get my first seller finance or creative finance deal? And it's like, for what? Is it for rental? Are you trying to build a direct to seller model like Cody and I have? Direct to seller, for those of you guys that don't know, means that we're going directly to the seller, whether it's door knocking, we're texting them, we're calling them, we're directly communicating with the sellers of houses in distress. So you could go distress or to the zerotoherorei.com to like learn how to go direct to seller. That's zerotoherorei.com. Or you could go to the MLS but these people are like, I'm not looking for my rental property. I need to find a house for myself and I can't qualify for a loan. Then go to the MLS. How quickly could you pull a search up, Cody?
I already pulled it up. There's 120 that came up.
Show
on
me,
MLS.
give me a screenshot, or like show me a screen share of just like show people what the MLS looks like that they've heard the word MLS, but they have no idea what that means.
1 sec here. Can you see my screen?
I can now. It's loading right now. There it is. Boom. Amazing. So you've got a list of let's make
120.
120 properties on seller finance. Guys, 120 properties right now available on seller finance. People just do not understand this.
Bunch of them.
So if you're looking for a deal and you like, we're looking at an 8-plex right now that Cody found on the MLS. Now, Cody, how do we indicate that? In my opinion, sellers typically on the MLS are, they're willing to go to a realtor and they're willing to go through the pain and agony of dealing with a realtor. Nothing against realtors, but you guys make things a little bit more challenging. So how do we know this particular 8-plex seller actually has some pain?
I mean, it's really just having the conversation with the agent. I reached out to the agent today, but I just hadn't heard back yet. I mean,
well, how like maybe days on market, maybe,
yeah,
how length of ownership.
That one's been on the market for like 600 days. So
okay, so you're telling me somebody has an 8-plex on MLS right now in the hottest real estate market of like the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had an 8-plex willing to sell and seller carry, willing to not even like, who cares about your credit history? You want to get into multifamily? People are always saying, I want to get into multifamily. I'm going to give this guy $5,000 so I can syndicate with his fund. Go do that. Have fun with that. How about you just go to the MLS and buy a freaking 8-plex on seller finance? They've completely overlooked these. It's 8 units of 2-bed, 1 bath. It'll cash flow like crazy. And it's been on the market 600 days. Insane. How long did it take you to find that?
I mean, I was just submitting some docs for a couple of refinances. And while I was like waiting for this thing to upload, I went on the MLS. I'm like, let me just see what's on the MLS for seller finances. And I just scrolled through. So a couple minutes. So
while everybody else, including me, are watching YouTube videos and like entertaining ourselves, Cody's over there looking at properties on seller finance on the MLS. That's like his side hobby. It wasn't even like an intentional thing. He's just naturally doing it, right? How interesting would that be that you guys just get so used to, comping and looking at deals that you just run into these types of things just naturally while you're catching up with emails and paperwork. That's freaking dope. So guys, don't sleep on that stuff, okay?